So the first thing is like this is not science fiction, right? Like when you introduce someone to this concept, and they go like, yeah, sounds like some weird theory, may or may not work. And then when you tell them that, hey, this is not science fiction, this is Bitcoin, right? So it started in 2009, like January of 2009 was what they call a Genesis block, like the first, the T, like call it 0 or
the
something.
first transaction, is that right?
Transactions are in blocks.
I got it. Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So like this is not even on the chart.
Okay.
I discovered it here, 2013. I was supposed to like finish my PhD. I was working on a different thesis. I just kind of like, me and my co-founder Ryan Che, we just went all in. Like this technology is like, it's a rabbit hole, right? Like you can just like keep discovering new things, and you can
I heard a rumor that you may have put all your life savings in Bitcoin.
Yes, but
is this true?
But
okay.
to be fair, I was just a poor grad student, and it wasn't a lot of savings, but I did convert all of them into Bitcoin. And Lena, she was like, she was like, you're crazy. Like, but the good thing is, like, she did not.
She did not put her money
into Bitcoin. So I was taking the risk, and you can imagine I was very happy here when this went from, I think when I got in, it was less than $200. I was like in the late 100 range, and then it went up to $1,200. Right, so I was feeling very smart at that point, like when it was here, and then there was a crash, and then another crash, and it was stable. But what's interesting is, all of this has happened before. Like this could be a zoom in, like this could be a zoom into this.
It does look similar to that. Yeah.
Like it's like it's the technology. Like think of it this way, that when email was starting, people didn't have email addresses, right? And then you would bring someone on board by making them create an account and sending them an email, right? But now there is actual money involved with the adoption of this technology, as more and more people are like joining in, and the total number of Bitcoins are actually fixed. So it works like gold in that way. Like the price the only way forward is the price to go up, because the number of Bitcoins is fixed. Anyway, so like it's been around, we have actually been developing a lot of technology on top of it. I'll talk a little bit about it later. This is interesting. So if you go back, the first question that people were asking is, okay, it's a digital currency, but will anyone ever accept it? Like, can you actually buy things with it, right? And interestingly, the first known transaction for anyone actually accepting Bitcoin for an actual good or product was a pizza in 2010. Right, so this guy sent 25,000 Bitcoins for a pizza that the other guy was saying the pizza is worth about $25.
That's an expensive pizza.
It's an expensive pizza.
This is a pretty good pizza.
And if he didn't buy that pizza and still had 25,000 Bitcoins, they'll be worth around $1.5 million today.
Whoa.
So that's was
an expensive pizza.
Extremely expensive pizza.
Was that you?
No.
Yeah.
This happened in 2010. I got in 2013.
Oh,
like 3 years before.
Was that you?
Yeah, I would be a sad man sitting somewhere in a corner. And if you look at the Bitcoin industry now, around $1.1 billion US has been invested just by venture capitalists, like VC firms, like people who put money behind Facebook, Amazon, Google. They're all getting into this space. And these are like some of the big companies. We actually share investors with these guys, like companies that raise like north of $100 million, right? And to build like wallets for Bitcoin, to build like merchant services, to build like, they're a very interesting company, 21. They are building like Bitcoin computers that just come with this mining chip, so that whenever you're kind of like just minting money through your computer, and it has like built-in Bitcoin support, so you can just like make payments at any point, and so on. If you actually wanted to, so now this brings me to like, okay, how is the currency actually created? Like, who creates it? If there's no government, how do you actually distribute the currency to begin with, right? And Bitcoin solved this problem in a very interesting way, that they tied the release of the currency with the same thing, like this thing. So at every block, new currency is being released.
So as you go through time,
So at every step of time, like imagine someone is like throwing new money into the system.
where does it go?
So it goes to so now, remember when I said that all these people are solving puzzles, right? So imagine like it's us, and we designed this system that is going to give the person who solves the puzzle a reward. The reward is actually new Bitcoins that are getting introduced into the system, right? So all of us are like solving a puzzle. Who else says, hey, I solved it, right? And I get Bitcoins. So this is how new currency gets introduced into the system. And as this, initially it was just people with their laptops. And then people started getting more sophisticated. They started like building like what they were calling them mining rigs in their basements. Like they would make a lot of noise and like, but they were actually literally minting money.
So mining is like using a computer to make
money
or to solve puzzles?
To solve puzzles.
Okay.
To make money.
So you solve puzzles, you make money.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this happened, right? That this is a mining rig. So imagine someone's basement where they are actually like going around trying to do you have friends who are like big video game players and they have like these really sophisticated computers and they would make sure which video card they're using and how much RAM they have? Like take that and multiply that by 100x. These guys would go and optimize like their machine so that their machine is actually more powerful on the network so that they can get more money, right? And then professionals stepped in and they started manufacturing what are called ASICs. They're specialized hardware designed to do only one thing, Bitcoin mining.
Whoa.
Right. So so imagine a computer that cannot run any other calculation. The only calculation it can run is Bitcoin mining and it's optimized for that. So they reduce the price of that computer, but it's really, really fast on like basically solving the puzzles.
Wow.
And so those ASICs jumped in and now actually it's not profitable for people like us to connect your computer and actually make money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is something what I kind of described, that there are 21 million Bitcoins in total. Around 75% have been released already.
Of all the Bitcoins that
All
are
the Bitcoin
ever
possible.
going to be released.
Going to be released.
Who decides that?
This is when, so imagine it was 50 Bitcoins per block. Like when that guy bought a pizza for like 25,000
right.
Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Like he was probably mining for a while and collecting like 50 Bitcoins per block and then decided to spend them. And then it dropped in November of 2012 to half. So it's like, imagine the protocol is reducing the rate at which money is being released into the system because they thought that people will realize how valuable Bitcoin is over time. So initially there's more supply, but less demand. And now the demand is going up and the supply is kind of like going down. And it's very interesting. So Bitcoin actually halved again last month. And now Bitcoin was like big enough that there were actually like Bitcoin parties all over the world, like Tokyo, San Francisco. People were like, for some reason, this was like a big event where now suddenly it went from $25 per block to 12.5 Bitcoins per block. Right, so this is going to go down to zero in the next, I don't know, like 70 years or something like that.
Is it because of inflation is what you're saying?
It
Because
is.
there's so many of them.
So imagine, so governments do this, right? Like governments would figure out what's the inflation rate for the currency. So this is inflation built in at the beginning. Everyone knows the rate, right? And then it's going to stop at some point. So we actually don't know what will happen, but it's actually, the point is actually pretty far away in some sense. But if it keeps reducing in half, like you can imagine it'll go down to 6, then 3, then 1.5. So actually that time is not that far away. So we might hit like less than 1 Bitcoin per block in I'm assuming decades,
Mm.
a couple of decades.
Mhm.
So then it will be very interesting to see, do people still connect their computers to the network? Because that's not the only form of payments.